of our beliefs upon God, you see. Yeah. Paul, you had some...
Just wondering about, this is how it can work for me sometimes. If I see something loving or love in action, I feel the sadness of the lack of love.
Yep.
And then I feel like, I really want to be loved. And so I'm wondering about, and so if I direct my thoughts towards God, please love me, God.
Yeah.
Is that a neediness towards God because I don't want to feel the sadness?
I feel you can be very, if you're not careful, you can be very complicated with the way you deal with your relationship with God. If you fully allow your feelings associated with the fact that when you see a contrast between love and no love, that causes you to trigger tears, if you allow yourself to completely feel that grief, right, then there can be no addictive relationship with God. The other thing is that if you long for God's love and you don't receive it, then it's probably an addiction. Does that make sense? Because God will only give you love when it's not an addiction. So automatically, if you are receiving God's love, you don't have to worry. It's different than if you're in a relationship with someone on earth, right? If I'm in a relationship with Mary and I'm receiving love from Mary, I don't know whether it's because of my addiction or not, because she may be an addiction, right? In giving it. And so I don't know whether I'm getting my addiction met or she's really loving me necessarily. But when my relationship is with God, I know God's not going to meet my addictions. So if I am receiving love from God when I'm longing for it, then it means I'm not in my addictions automatically. You see, and this is the beauty of having the relationship with God first, is that you get to feel what it's like to actually have all of your addictions confronted. If you're not receiving love from God when you think you have a longing, then it's obviously an addictive longing. Because otherwise you would be receiving God's love in that moment. So it's got to be something wrong with the longing. Otherwise, and therefore not pure, otherwise you would be receiving God's love. That's all you need to worry about. You don't have to worry about anything else.
No, and perhaps there's a little bit of confusion right in that process of feeling this sadness and stuff, and I probably don't need to worry about it because if I focus on God, I think, well, this is one person who can love me.
Yes.
And so that's where I want to direct some energy.
Yes.
And so it can just keep me in the process of feeling the sadness of the contrast of not feeling loved, I guess.
Correct. But also if you're not feeling the flow of love from God, then it means most probably that your longing for God in that moment is out of harmony with sincerity or purity. Because if you were sincere and pure, you would be receiving love from God in that moment.
Yeah, and what I'm thinking goes on is it's like God loved me, so I don't have to feel how bad I feel about not being loved.
Yes, and God's not going to do that. That's an addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you, in that moment, you'll know it's an addiction because you won't receive God's love under those circumstances. Yeah. Does that make sense? So it's really simple to tell with God whether you're in or out of harmony with love. If you're receiving God's love, then you're in harmony. If you're not, you're out. It's so simple. But when you're in a relationship with someone else, it's very complicated because it could be, like in my relationship with Mary, it could be that something's wrong with Mary receiving love or Mary giving love, or it might be something wrong with me receiving love or something wrong with me giving love. That would stop the love from flowing between the two of us. There's 4 things that could go wrong. With God, there's only 2 things that can go wrong. It's either I'm not open to receiving or I'm not open to giving with God. That's the 2 things, and that's it. And both of them involve me. So I can easily tell that there's something wrong about me when I develop my relationship with God. But when I develop my relationship with another person, there might be 4 things going wrong, and 2 of those things are about somebody else. It makes it really complicated to determine what's really going on, particularly when I am distorted in my viewpoints of love. Right? And this is where, with regard to understanding your emotional self, the fastest way to understand your emotional self is to develop your relationship with God first. Because it's far less complicated than any other relationship. Now, that's not the way most of us think. The way most of us think is the relationship with God is most complicated because we don't know anything about it, we don't know anything about God, we don't understand. That's what we think. And so what we try to do is we forget about developing our relationship with God and we focus on developing our relationship with the person. But that's going to make our life very complicated because we're not going to know which time the person, the other person, in my relationship with Mary, I don't know which time, because my love might be distorted, right? So I don't know which time Mary's actually loving me. She might be loving me and I think she's not. Or she might be not loving me and I think she is. Or she might be not receiving my love and I think she is, right? Because she's receiving an addiction, right? Addictively or something like that. Or, I might be blocked to giving it or receiving it myself. So there's all sorts of things that could be going on that very confusing. But with my relationship with God, it's not that confusing. If you're receiving God's love, then you're in harmony with love. If you're not receiving God's love, then you're out of harmony with love. It's really simple. Like, there's something inside of me that's wrong every single time. And see, most of us go into that place and we go, there's something inside of me that's wrong, and then we go into the punishing side. Oh, there's something wrong with me again. Why is there always something wrong with me? We start to punish ourselves about all that. But we don't need to, because most of what's wrong with you, if we look at what's wrong with you, it only came from two possible sources. One was the way you were treated, as we talked about yesterday, the people we need to forgive. And the other is the way you treated others, which are the people you need to repent towards. That's the only two ways something can be wrong, right? And so if something's going on with God, I know something's going on with God and I'm not receiving God's love, it's got to be something wrong with those two things. Yep. Far away.